I know it's been like 3 years, guys, but not. You would think only for the podcast, Parker.
Yeah.
But you'd be wrong. I haven't made a video in like I don't know how long. So welcome back to Two Dudes One Car, and welcome back to the Salomondrin channel, I guess, everybody. I'm not dead. This is not AI. I mean, it would look way better than this, of course. So it's just us.
We're
Parker.
updating the model. Don't worry.
Exactly. It's Parker, Sergio, and your boy.
Yeah,
and
can you clean my shoes? Because apparently I just wear dirty shoes every episode.
Is that what people are saying?
That's what people are saying.
Because they can see your shoes. So do you wear dirty shoes every single episode?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't know why my shoes are so clean. Well, I know why, but my wife is.
Well, he doesn't leave the house. He just walks around
That's
in his shoes
also.
in the house.
Oh
so
man, it's pretty comfortable here with my 2-hour live streams. I need to start doing live streams on cars. I've thought about this for a very long time. And I've done here and there, and I like get discouraged. But fuck that. I should just do that. It's
Can we
so
do a
much
live
fun.
stream with you're live on your channel and I'm live on my channel together? Or is
Yeah,
that
we
not
can.
a YouTube?
No,
All
yeah.
the time.
You
Yeah?
can.
Oh, we
And
should try that.
Not only on your channel, my channel, all of the platforms at the same time.
Oh,
Yours
wow.
and mine. It's doable.
Wow.
So first of all, how are you? How
I'm
you
good.
been?
Yeah. It does feel like it's been a while. I sent some screenshots of comments.
Yeah.
People think we hate each other.
It's
People
true.
think the podcast is over.
Yeah, it's
We've just been busy. I've been traveling.
Well, you've been traveling like crazy, and we have like another project and other things that we're working on, which has been crazy, but now we're
Yeah.
there. I want to ask you about that. You went to Germany just now, but you were also in Austin.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's go with the Austin one, because I
Okay.
saw that you were with my boy Shmee,
Yeah.
Tim 169. Everybody knows that's his official name. How was that, and what was it?
So I feel like this is how content creation goes in our space.
How?
I had no plan of going to Austin that week. I
just
bumped into somebody 4 days before, and they were like, "Are you going to this Austin thing?" I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." They're like, "Oh, Tim's going." So I messaged me. I'm like, "What's going on in Austin?" So basically, it was a hypercar event, like a private track day. Half the time on Sunday was during a IMSA race, and then the other half was like on Monday, and no cars were there other than hypercars, and it was shut down. So it was, I don't know, cool content opportunity, and
So obviously, Tim made it all the way from the other side of the pond.
I figured it had to be worth it. Yeah.
Hey, what was the pitch, or why?
I don't even know what the pitch was, other than that so many people were going to be in town at once. It just seemed like Austin was the place to be. They had a crazy car meet, one of the best I've ever been to, on Friday.
Yeah.
And then people were from all over the country. The funny part is everyone was like, "Yeah, look, the Austin car scene's so awesome," which it is. But then I looked around at all the cars that were there, and none of them were from Austin. It was like,
Well, no.
you had Tim's car from England, you had a bunch of cars from OC. It was
There's like, honestly, you go in Austin, and by the way, when we moved to Austin like 3 years ago, there was none.
yeah.
None. Even my wife is like, "There's no nice cars in here," to add to all the fucking shit that she hated about Austin. There's not even nice cars in here. The nicest car is the one we drive. I'm like, whoa. And by the end, saw a 918 and stuff started to get better.
It is getting crazy.
Yeah, well, now Joe Rogan, he's bringing everyone. It seems to be becoming like a hub for comedians.
Yeah, and then like the CTO of Google, that Ben
Dell,
Sloss guy,
all of those guys live there.
moved out there. So there's
Yeah.
50 new cars, and I guess there is a big car scene there. People are just way more under the radar. It's not the
Well,
bring it out to a car show to flex your car
Because he's
kind of
real,
culture.
really rich people
Yeah.
that actually have jobs.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like
They have like real things.
My
to-
guy, the
work
CEO of
on.
Dell, I want you to know this, dude. They're selling all of Austin on your back, man. Wherever you have a house, wherever this dude has a house, wherever you're looking to buy a house, they're like, by the way, the CEO of Dell owns that property.
Oh, I haven't heard about the CEO of Dell.
Every time you walk
Really?
anywhere in Austin where the dude owns a house,
Uh-huh.
they're instantly, all real estate agents, they try to sell you on the fact that the Dell CEO lives there. Like, I'm going to go and ask him for money. Hey, Mr.
Yeah,
Dell
yeah.
CEO, is there any way you can give
Can
me
I
$1
have some
billion?
milk?
Yeah, like, what is this? What is this? That was interesting. But towards the end, it started to get more. But like I said, there is that tech culture and all that stuff, but it's just people working.
Yeah.
And it's hard because living there, I met a few people. I would go to restaurants downtown, And someone would be like, Salomondrin? I was like, yeah, I can't believe you know who I am. And the guy would go like, hey, here's my card. Call me. We do car things. I'm like, I'm not fucking calling you just to go to a car event. And then you would see him on the weekends. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. So he was never like appealing. But right now I saw that. So first of all, what you were doing had an incredible amount of hypercars and insane cars. What did you see that you haven't seen before? Did you was there anything that you really liked? What stuck out?
As sad as this is, I don't think there was anything I hadn't seen before. I mean, there was a Zonda R and an Apollo IE ripping around the track. I did a ride along in the Apollo, which was pretty cool. I drove. Have you seen the KTM Expos? Those cars that it has like the cockpit that folds out. So I drove that at Circuit of the America, and that was extremely impressive.
Really?
It looks...
What was cool about it?
Just how well it handled, how much grip, and the braking. It kind of reminds me of a Polaris Slingshot in a way. Like it's this toy that you buy. But then I drove it, and it wasn't like that. It was
the Polaris feels very...
Yeah, I mean, that thing's just kind of...
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. This was serious.
Zonda or Apollo, and why?
Probably the Zonda, for sure.
Why?
I don't know. I've just always wanted that car more.
To me, I think the Apollo is the sexiest looking thing I've ever seen on the
crazy,
outside.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But then Sergio and I were in Saudi, in Riyadh, and they had like that iridescent purple one. It's one of the first ones they did, called the Dragon.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. But then you open the door, looked inside, and instantly the first thing, I don't know why my eyes went there, was like I looked at the seat, and the top part of the seat kind of looked like, I don't know if you've ever seen like those shitty cars from the past that they redo and they bring them back to today's whatever.
Yeah.
And like the cushion looks like out of place.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, well, this looks cheap. Then I turned around, I looked down, and I started noticing like little details. And by the way, I'm not demanding anything from Apollo. They're a brand new, they're new ownership on an older company, etc. Car looks great. Sounds amazing. The exhaust, the way it looks, the noises, the everything is perfect. But I feel like there's something in that car that the owners are not telling us. Kind of like the
100%. I get that vibe too.
And the reason why is if I had that car in my garage, I take it out before anything else.
Yeah.
And it looks mental. And the people,
there's a couple logistical issues with it. The turning radius is so bad because it's a race car, and then the straight cut gears going from 0 to 10 miles an hour is nearly impossible.
Horrendous.
So I mean, it bucks and then it'll stall, and then you look like an idiot. And then if you need to make a U-turn, which at some point you're gonna have to back out of a parking spot or do something.
Yeah.
And I've been in that scenario on the road, and it takes like 15 minutes. I mean, it's like.
Do you know what engine's in it?
It's got the F12 TDF V12.
Yeah, dude. It sounds incredible.
So it sounds insane, and then the gearbox, it's... I don't even know if it's possible to make it more doable on the road, because it does such a good job at being ridiculous that maybe if you made it more approachable on the street, it would just make it kind of lame. But
I don't know.
The one thing that surprised me, and I don't want to like throw anyone under the bus, and I'm not going to name the person, but somebody involved in the development of the Apollo.
Yeah.
I was talking to them. I was like, so what's this thing like to drive? And the answer they gave me felt like a political, like, this is what I'm supposed to say, but that they didn't actually love how it drove.
So it's one of those things that it's like, dude,
yeah.
it's probably one of these, like, the real answer is like, we just had no space in the car and this is all we could fit.
Yeah.
And he just gave you what's the, do you want to say the answer that he gave you or not? You don't have to.
I mean, it was basically like it's unique and it's good. But it wasn't like,
unique.
Oh, it handles so well and the steering feel and it just was like, all right.
And so whoever was driving the car on the track, does it feel agile and like a real race car once you
felt
put it
fast.
on the track?
Yeah.
On the turns and everything too?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it should.
Yeah. I mean, it would be ridiculous if a $3 million plus car couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think it gets some bad rap for the interior. People say the quality and whatnot. Maybe the two I've been in I've gotten lucky, but I thought it was all right.
Maybe you didn't get in it because the one we saw was like number 1 or number 2.
Gotcha.
I have no idea. It's one of the first ones that they made, like, really, and put it in front of people.
It wasn't like fully done either, I believe.
No, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, legitimately, I got in the car and I was like, what the?
The funniest part about this one is that you were in number 1 or whatever, but then the one they just delivered at an event on the Friday in Austin and then drove was the last one built 10 out of 10, but then they're calling it the first one.
Why?
I guess maybe they started at first and there were some issues and they moved on, then they circled back, but somehow it's the last and the first at the same time.
This sounds like you know, when Pagani, there was some Mexican asshole that started this trend of I have a one-off.
That
car.
asshole.
Yeah.
Oh
my
God, I hate that guy. And then everyone bought a one-off Pagani afterwards. I feel like that is like the new that, right? Like now people are like, I want the first one, even though I'm not getting the first one. I want you to say that you did. This was the first one.
It felt like that. It also felt like some people want the last of a car ever made. Like, oh, this is the last Aventador off the line, or this is the first Aventador. They get both.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
This is number 10, but actually it's number 1. So
the guy actually has 2 in 1.
Apparently.
That's a baller
I don't
move.
know.
That's a baller
That's a
move.
good question. Or did they already make number 10? I don't know the answer to that. Who cares?
Okay, and on the other side, have you driven a Zonda?
No. I haven't even been in the Zonda.
The Zondas are really
I've been
easy
in a streetcar Zonda.
The Zondas are really easy to drive.
Yeah, I don't think the Zonda R race car is at all.
The Zonda reminded me so much of the Carrera GT.
Yeah.
But like a cup out of the Carrera GT because the clutch was easier. And the suspension was great. The brakes were great. It's a simple car.
Yeah.
And it makes such a good amount of noise and it's beautiful. I like that, but I think the Apollo looks way more spectacular. But my thing is, which one am I going to take out to baller around town, to be a baller around town? It's got to be the one that works, man.
100%. Speaking of working, Coda is an interesting place because it gets really warm in Austin, Texas.
Yes, he does.
So it was really cool to see all of these dedicated track cars. Some of them worked, and some of them absolutely did not. And some cars that you wouldn't expect to have problems did have problems. Other cars that you very much would expect to have problems had problems. But like, so Tim couldn't make it more than...
why can we hear which ones?
Well, I'll tell you which ones.
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
So Tim's Ford GT, you'd expect track car, whatever. No. He could make it 2 laps and it would overheat and he'd have to bring it back in.
Yeah.
That's GTs. A car I don't know if you'd expect. It's meant to be on the track. I get when it's really hot, it's hard on the car. Koenigsegg Regera couldn't make it more than like a lap and a half.
Dude, you know why? Because he's taking that dark matter.
Yeah, this is dark
and
matter.
not continuing the dark matter development. That's the problem.
I'm trying to think of what else. The Zonda seemed like it was having cooling issues.
Well, oh, really?
Yeah.
But the R or the regular one?
The R.
Yeah. The Zonda, dude, that is a beautiful car. It's the most... I think if I wanted to have a track car, beyond, like before, the only reason why I'd go with the LaFerrari Evo is because of the entire club. Like, dude, you're getting into that club.
Yeah, it's a crazy club.
The people in there, like, you'll make your money times 80.
It's an investment.
You just make one deal. That's all you need, and you'll be a billionaire.
It's interesting. That car, to me, does make more sense because you can join a series and you can go to events with other people. The Zonda, there is no that. So, for better, I mean, in some instances, it's really cool because you bring the only one to a track day.
But he doesn't know. You need a lot of support.
But you need a lot of... So that's interesting. I wonder if they're going to get to the point where track cars, all of a sudden, they're going to realize that some of these richer people maybe don't want all that required support. And they can make the cars easier to just get out onto the track. Because the Zonda, I mean, it came with a team of people and boxes and this and that. And people are starting it from the outside and cooling it off and laptops. And it was a whole thing.
But that's how the Ferrari thing goes.
Yeah.
So you go in exactly just like what you're saying. They bring you all these boxes. You need to bring engineers, computers. You need to plug the car in every time you do a lap, get the feedback, etc. When it's running, my favorite car out there. But I've heard from a few people that have one that it does have a lot of problems.
Interesting. I guess it's just at that race car pushing the limit level. It's hard to...
And I have no idea, to be honest with you, because I'm not an engineer like you are, and you understand
but I also
these
have no
things.
idea.
I'm just a moron. And on the other side, of this, you have the La Ferrari with all of the XX cars that go on these Corsa Clienti programs, right? What you're saying that rich people might not like is what they love the most.
Yeah, maybe.
The
team of people catering to them.
If people listening have never seen what that is or have never heard of it, is Ferrari's top 25 to 30 clients with the LaFerrari FXXK Evo, which is the super hardcore version for the track. Those guys get together and they have like 13, 16 races or race days around the world. Ferrari takes care of all logistics. They take your car, they bring all of your boxes, they give you engineers, they give you someone to check your data while you're running and saying like, you know, you fucked up on this corner, you need to do this, like a real. So when they show up, Ferrari sends you like the invitation. They say, all you need to do is basically show up at this, around this racetrack on this date, we'll take care of everything. Once you tell them my private plane, because obviously everyone that's in this program has 80 private planes, they just land. Ferrari picks him up. They take him to this hotel where they set him up in the craziest suite. They have like a racing menu, like a healthy menu, so that they can feel like, oh yeah, I'm
Do
doing.
they really?
It's the best part. They have nutritionists for you.
So I heard, was it you saying that the food used to be shit and then they radically changed it? Okay, it was you. Yeah.
Because
now it's a freaking fine dining experience.
My first experience with that was like, this is a letdown, dude. These people are putting so much money and the experience is so half-assed. And then the next time I went was like elevated tremendously. And what these guys like is, and I heard from my friends that are there, they're like, I love that I can just show up. I know my car's going to run, that they have my back, that if I need more tires, if I need this, they got them covered. And I'm just going to get on the track and pull my fastest times and whatever. And when you're there, they have locker rooms. They give you like, they hold your help. Everything, it feels like you're in a fucking Formula One race. It's so cool. I never thought I wanted that because I thought it was lame that Ferrari keeps the cars. But I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
See, that, I guess, is maybe a very familiar experience for the people that are involved. Whereas me, it stresses me out having all these people that have to do things for you. Like, I don't want to make him do that. And you've got this whole team of people, like, almost treating you like you're above them, and that stresses me the F out.
No.
Versus, I guess, all these people who are CEOs and whatnot have thousands of people below them, so maybe they're used to that power dynamic. But I want to be like to the guy who's helping fill the tires up.
No, I know.
I respect you.
I know you feel so bad.
Yeah,
I was there. They were showing us the car. We did actually a 360 video in one of those to show people how it was, like the experience. And the guy that was setting up the car was so nice. And I just felt so bad that he was helping me and I was not paying him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What a dope job. I'm sure they make good money. Like, they're not like, I have to go to this
But I'm sure they also
track.
deal with a lot of pieces of shit.
Oh, yeah. But
like,
there were
just people treating
they all
them like
seem
nothing.
to be very happy, and because they have like that Ferrari Formula One attitude. Like the mechanics don't speak a dick outside of Italian and some English.
Yeah, they give you a thumbs up, a thumbs down, and that's it.
Yeah. So they don't. Like, it's very Italian, very Ferrari. So I feel like those mechanics too have they're not bringing low-end people. They're really well taken care of because you're dealing with very hard to deal with people, right? Peak of the industry or the world, if you will. So I think it's straight. But man, I absolutely adore that idea. But on the Zonda one, like you're saying, where's the whole team? Where's like the whole group? And then when you
there's a mini team, but it almost seems like it's either provided by the dealership that sold the car, or I'm not sure exactly.
I think you're right there.
But it was a small team, and it was definitely not Pagani there, and it was not 10 Zondas racing together.
That's a little bummer.
Which would be cool. I'm sure that happens, but it's certainly not on the frequency that.
But
Corsa Cliente and
I just think Pagani's for another thing. Pagani, they make their road trips. They do their Raduna rally, which is awesome. That was the first rally that I went to that I was like, wow, this is class with a K. That's how much class they had. And the food was great. There was not crazy amounts of driving. We went to destinations to eat amazing food, had a great time. The only problem with the Pagani thing is just there's a few of those Pagani owners that are unbearable, dude. Unbearable.
That eye movement was crazy. You might need to switch careers.
Oh my God. It was
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that wrecked the rest of the experience for you because they were so loud and obnoxious?
Dude, there's two dudes like this that specifically I saw that they were lining up the cars. We were all lining up to like take pictures. And this one dude comes and he goes, Horatio, my car must be in front of all of the other ones because I blah, blah, blah. And Horatio like turns around and he goes, oh my God, I don't know how I deal with this. Because I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And I was like, good luck with this. And then I would leave somewhere and he's like, no, what are you doing? If you're going to do this, make sure, like the guy's controlling everything. And it's these two guys. I don't know how many more there are now, which I can't imagine. And the problem is, it's the same guys that also are in the Koenigsegg bubble, right? So it's like,
well, the funny part is I had the opposite of that Koenigsegg experience where I was at a Goodwood Festival of Speed last year, got canceled on Saturday, I think it was, because there was too much wind. They were worried the tents were going to blow and kill people, literally.
Yeah,
I mean,
they would.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I was staying at the Koenigsegg tent encampment, and we basically gathered, well, not me, I just followed along. They gathered all the Koenigsegg owners, and we went to a pub with like 12 Koenigsegg's and then went to my friend's house. And they wanted to get a picture because there were so many of them together. And like Christian was there and he wanted to do the picture and their marketing team and whatnot. So they're getting the cars all aligned. And one guy refuses to have his car in the picture. He's like, and everyone's looking around like,
why?
What does this guy do? Or what has he done recently that he can't have his car in the picture? And he basically got forced into having his car in the picture.
Did he really?
Yeah. But it was so weird. We're like, the license plate's not going to be in it.
Well, you also have
Koenigsegg built the car. They're there. Like, just put it in the...
You also have that on the Pagani one. There are like the mysterious guys. There was one guy. I don't care because no one knows who I'm talking about. There was one guy who had a very specific looking Huayra. And it's one of those that you either love it or you hate it. There's nothing in the middle. And we were doing like the second day. I was coming out behind them, and the dude on the straight, he almost destroyed his car. So by the time we got to wherever we went to eat, I got out of the car and I looked at him. I was like, "We were going on a straight line, and you lost the car. What happened?" And the guy started talking to me, and I was like, "This guy's a fucking moron. Like, he can't be the owner of this car." And I turned around and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And everybody's like, "I don't know." It's like, then how is he here? So I went and finally got to some people that knew who was who. He was the lover of the dude that owned the car, right? Like a male lover of the dude that he had in secret. So he sent him on this rally, and he was like, "Don't get any pictures of the car with you whatsoever."
But what an insane move. Who sends their secret love affair with a hypercar to a photoed event? I don't know. These are worlds I don't live in.
I wish I could help you there, but also, come on. You know that when you see someone doing something sexually weird, and I'm saying weird outside of the box. I know. This is a car podcast.
You see that?
I know this is a podcast about cars. But
I don't care. It's on your channel.
But listen,
you can go crazy.
But listen, I don't know if you've ever heard, like, I don't know. There's like, these guys have an open relationship. And then there's someone else on the other side listening to this, and they go, well, of course, they're rich. Of course, they're doing these crazy things. Like, being so rich gives you the freedom of being your ultimate self, right? And do all these crazy things. And I just think a lot of these people just have no limits and no understanding of consequences. Because I'm also assuming that his wife, because the dude's married to a woman, I'm assuming his wife knows. But she's like, dude, do you know how much money I have right now and how comfortable I am? And she's probably on the weekends going and seeing Jerome and Jamal and all of the team.
That's pretty messed up.
Yeah, and doing what it's necessary to do. She's probably going to Joey's. Have you been to Joey's?
Of course.
The restaurant?
Yeah.
Well, if you go to Joey's at any point at 6 p.m., 6 p.m., there's the BBC club that walks in, and it's not the Billionaires Boys Club.
I've been.
That's not the one. And then all these MILFs with like the most gigantic fake tits and fake tans you've ever seen. They're all there. Just
I have seen that.
They're all picking. They're like, I don't know how we got here. Either way, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
The valets just all matte black Urises and G-Wagons.
Yeah, dude. It's
Joey Woodland Hills, baby.
It's going down, baby. There's one here right there.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
6 p.m.?
The same thing happens.
Well, see us there after the pod.
Every time Belen tells me that she's going to Joey's, I'm like, no, you're not going to Joey's. Of course not. Of course not. But there's a lot more places here in Orange County that serve that type of crowd, if you will. That's the way to put it. But I saw that you went to Germany. Dude.
Yeah.
What you do out there?
So I got invited by Hyundai to go to the Nurburgring 24-hour race. So I'd been to the Nurburgring twice, but I'd never been during a huge event.
Yeah.
So there was 250,000 people there.
No.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And
Where?
So a normal track's 1.5 to 2.5 miles. This is 14.7
Yeah,
plus the
that's why-
GP track. So the whole thing. Tents and encampments throughout the forest as far as the eye could see.
That's cool.
People would
That
build
is cool.
3-story things out of wood and hang blow-up dolls. And one person had like a scoreboard where when you would walk by, they'd shout with your rating, like 1 to 10.
No way.
Yeah,
What was your rating?
Well, I got a 10, I think, because we were wearing media vests. So they were like, yeah, let's get on film. They thought we were like the TV.
Yeah.
So-
They saw. By the way, anyone sees a camera.
Yeah.
they'll
They saw a
act their-
camera and some like official looking placards, and they're like, yeah, we're going to be on TV. Sorry.
So were you in the race or were you watching the race?
No, I was watching the race.
Okay.
Hyundai was participating in the race, and then I got to drive between one of the qualifying sessions and the start of the race. I got to do a lap around which was cool because one, driving the Nurburgring sick, but to drive it while 250,000 people were there. I mean,
Yeah.
people are firing off fireworks. This could never happen in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest atmosphere ever. So if you want to go to a race, that's
How was driving in the ring? Was that your first time?
no, second time.
How was it?
Sweet.
I've never done it.
It's so cool. It's so long that no matter how many times you've done it on a driving simulator, which me is hundreds, if not 1,000 times, it still catches you off guard because there's so many turns.
Do you not get bored at some point? That was my problem with racing. That's why I never got into it. I was on a straight in thermal, dude, the back straight by the houses. I was on that straight in my Porsche, in my GT3, and I remember just like fucking coming out of the corner, burn, and I'm going. And in the middle of it, I get a phone call, and I just picked up the phone. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I forgot I was racing. By the time I got to the end, I was like, overshot the corner and basically came off the track.
That's insane. Never
Yeah.
do that. Never
I
pick
just-
up the phone.
I just get distracted. I'm like
Clearly.
you can tell I'm
That's
like a squirrel.
wild.
I have an ADD problem. an
Well,
attention problem.
one, you're not going fast enough if you can pick up the phone. Two, the thing that makes it less boring, I will
agree.
say, is thermal has 9 to 12 turns. I forget exactly.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So you learn all the turns relatively quickly.
Yeah.
They've got over 130 at the Nurburgring.
Yeah,
So the whole time is near death.
What car did you drive?
The first time was in an M2 competition with like track brakes and
sweet.
suspension and whatnot with Misha, who is this.
Did you see him?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
He was
How is
competing.
he?
He's good.
He looks great.
They had a crazy incidents where, so it's 4 drivers usually because it's 24 hours straight. I mean, they start at 4 p.m., you race till 4 p.m. the next day through the night. It doesn't matter if it's raining, blah, blah, blah. One of their drivers, I think there was a yellow flag for a crash and they were going too fast during the yellow zone, so they kicked him out of the race. So then they had to do it with 3 drivers.
Oh man! So the
is
stints
crazy.
were way longer for everybody, and you know that if that was a strong driver, then they're getting one of the weak drivers' times reduced, and then the other 2 guys are gonna have to go in.
Yeah.
If that during that scenario, did you see any cool cars?
Yeah, tons of cool stuff. I mean, the N24 is cool because not only do you see all of the GT3 cars racing, like the Porsche GT3 R and the AMG GT3 Super Trofeo type cars, you also see they've got like a class for 80s and 90s cars. So you'll see E30 BMW M3s.
So dangerous.
And then you'll have, the companies spending a ridiculous amount of money and bringing support crews and whatnot. And then you'll also, in a different class, have some guy in his $6,000 non-M 3 Series that came with his friend in like a 12-pack.
I've seen that.
And
Yeah.
it's really cool. I mean, these people are on the track at the same time as these serious racing teams, also trying to go for 24 hours, have absolutely no prayer of winning, but they're doing it anyways, and that's got to be fun.
Yeah. There's a big part of me that wants to do
driving.
racing like so bad, but he's just so scary.
Yeah.
So
and that's as scary as it gets. It's pitch black. It's raining. Blind turns.
That track, dude. We actually rented it. We rented the ring for what was gonna be for banging gears. I had a P1 GTR, LaFerrari FXXK Evo, P1 GTR, the LaFerrari, and what was the other one? We had the little one car. I can't remember. We were gonna use a Radical to compare them, and another third car. I can't remember. We had like three. Oh, the Zonda R. And we were gonna do this, so we rented the ring. Farshad is the one who called, rented everything, put it under his name.
Do you remember what that cost?
And it was $120,000 for a day. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And they were like, you cannot cancel. There's nothing. The only way you can cancel is if it snows.
Okay.
I was like, no problem. And I can't remember what exactly happened that we were like, we can't do this. Like, we can't go. And we called them and we were like, dude, it's still like long ways away. We want to cancel this. And they're like, nope, you can't. We're like, no, we want to cancel. They're like, no, you need to pay us or we're going to sue you. I was like, good fucking luck suing us from Germany. And they just kept saying that they would. And the day that we had the track rented, you know that they have live cameras at the ring.
Yeah.
It was fucking snowing. So I saved that. And I was like, if these guys come after me, I can show them this and it's done.
Wow.
Yeah. Talk about
luck.
Like
that's crazy.
The luckiest break in my life ever.
You sent Farshad out there with fake snow on the cameras. It's only snowing on camera 5. What the fuck?
Don't worry, I'll cut that out.
It was so incredible, and we got away with it. But that was the one time I was gonna go, and I remember just like the build up towards it. I was like, I'm gonna die driving these cars that have like no help whatsoever, 1 billion horsepower, that everything is rear wheel stick. Like, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be something. So I've always wanted to do it, but I'm also scared. And also,
that's an insane way to try to do it. I mean, you weren't driving the cars, were you?
Yeah, I was not gonna set up the fastest lap.
Oh, okay.
But you gotta drive the car.
That's the craziest test of all time.
Because then
Alejandro attempting a lap record in random hypercars. I would love to watch that show.
And by the way, imagine I am really
you
good
win.
at it. Everyone's like,
people are like, that doesn't
what?
make sense.
The fuck? Yeah, no, I'm terrible at it. So no, I didn't do it. But you told me that you saw the 992.2 Porsche 911.
Yeah.
How was that? Dude, those I'm really excited about. And the fact that we're going more with they call it a hybrid, but even though you have a battery, the assist comes from the turbo directly, right? On these. That's what it is. They have electronic turbos.
I think they have a small electric motor in the transmission and electronically assisted turbos as well.
That's right.
So I saw one. I was blown away because they had just unveiled it, I feel like, on Instagram a day prior. So here I am just learning this car even exists. I mean, it's obvious they're going to make the refresh version of the 992. It's
they always
predictable,
do.
but we don't know what it looks like. We'd think it would be hybrid, but you don't know. And I see this car as I'm driving to the Nurburgring, and I'm like, wow, I've never seen that wing before. That's an interesting aftermarket wing. So I thought it was like a 992 with a wing on it. And then I look, and then the plate says something 911. And I'm like, okay, so that's probably Porsche's car because it's got 911 on the license plate. And then I was like, oh my God, this is the brand new 992.2.
Dude, they look so good.
They look really cool.
The turbo, can you imagine how fast that thing is going to be?
No, it's going to be insane. I mean, I think they dropped like a GTS version with 60 or 70 more horsepower than the last generation. The Turbo S is going to have, I mean, at least probably 100 more than before. And
Dude,
already at 650 horsepower is ridiculous.
It's that, by the way, to me, the 992 turbo is the most perfect car that
Yeah,
exists.
it's incredible.
It's incredible for it's bipolar. It's really good at everyday things.
Yeah.
And it's really good at track things. Like really good and fun. Sounds great, drives great sound system, great interior.
Yeah.
And now you're going to give me even more power and instant torque.
Yeah, with limited weight gain. They're not putting a massive battery in it and making it heavy. They're basically trying to maximize the performance of a hybrid powertrain.
Oh, I like this. We've been talking about electric turbos making it into the market since 2015 in Let's Talk About Carsio, when the rumor was that the Chiron was going to have them. And then the Chiron came out and he didn't have it. He was just like an upgraded, let's just call it an upgraded version, right, of the Veyron. But it's obviously more than that. But now I think Bugatti's going to go in a different direction with that. So that's
They don't have turbos on the new one.
On the new one?
Yeah.
They don't? What is the new one?
It's a V16 naturally aspirated, and then it's got, I think, 3 electric motors with over 1,800 total
Are you
horsepower.
serious?
Serious, yeah. It's not a turbocharged. It's a fucking V16, and they've released clips of what it sounds like. If you go Bugatti, their YouTube channel,
No.
the only thing we've seen is that it's a V16 and what it sounds like, and then there's leaked spy shots of the instrument cluster, and it's all open like a tourbillon skeleton watch.
No.
Like you can see all the gears for how they work for the RPMs, and it's so cool.
I mean,
They Pagani.
yeah.
Chiron.
It was a matter of time, right?
Yeah.
Eventually that they would get there and understand, like, if you have the richest people on earth buying your shit, that's what they're expecting.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really,
Yeah.
really cool. That's crazy. And
That
we
does
don't know.
look sick.
Yeah, we don't know anything about like base price on it or
No.
anything like that, right?
I don't even know if the top clients. I mean, the top clients don't give a crap with the base price.
No, they
They're
don't.
like,
They
oh,
really don't.
We're in this room. Cool.
Yeah.
Here's my checkbook.
I remember when we went to Spec, we wanted to buy. We thought it was the
Bolide.
The Bolide. The Bolide. We thought it was that, and we ended up going because we wanted to buy that, and ended up going, and it was the Devo. And we showed up to this place, dude. It was the most underwhelming car revelation or reveal I've ever seen.
It was just a random building,
Really?
right?
It was just in a random building in New York City. You go up, and I remember thinking as I was going in the elevator, how the fuck did they get the car up here? Like, that makes no sense. Like, but it's Bugatti. They have unlimited money.
Was this at Manhattan Motor Cars or?
Manhattan Motor Cars facilitated this. Brian is the fucking man. And they were the ones, like, if he wants to buy the fucking car, he's going. And they got us in there. And while we get there, open the door, there's only like these Chinese kids that are just sitting there. And there's also Winkleman. Winkleman was the CEO of Bugatti at that time. And I saw him. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I need to take a picture with Winkleman. This is going for the meme history. Yeah, of course, we did all of that stuff. And they finally bring us into a room within the apartment that they had. And I was like, all right, something's going to open and the car is going to be right there. This is really exciting. They had a TV this big, like this big. And the dude just started rolling through a presentation with the remote control. I was like, are you serious?
That's crazy.
And then the other disappointment, right? I saw it and it was not the car that we thought. It was just a
that's
Devo.
So funny.
And they were like, so what do you think? I was like, this is not the car I thought this would be. They're like, what car did you expect? And I told them, I was like, the Le Mans car that you guys are building. They're like, oh, no, that doesn't exist. I was like, great. So you're not buying one?
Unreal.
No.
And they try to sell you a bike and a scooter and whatnot, right?
Yeah, though they try to sell us a bicycle, a carbon fiber bicycle that was 80,000 euros at the time.
Oh my! You know who came out with a more affordable bicycle? Still crazy price, but I think for what it is, it's actually impressive. McLaren just released an electronic assist downhill mountain bike for like 12 grand.
That is pretty good.
Which, when I saw it, I'm like, wow, this is badass. Can't wait to see it be 60 grand. I feel like, obviously for a bike, it's a lot of money, but if you get into bikes, they can get
a high-end bike
insane.
is that price.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a carbon fiber downhill mountain bike,
Yeah.
but it's also McLaren, and I believe it has electric assist, which is
That
gonna
is
add
pretty
money.
cool. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I like when companies do these products. The last thing I want to ask you before I finish this is I saw this morning on Twitter the Mustang GTD. And for everybody that's listening, this is an 8. If you go on Ford's website directly, it says targeted max power. This is a 2025 car, so it's not out yet. Max power is going to be 800 plus horsepower.
Power.
Oh, that too. That's pretty cool. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Name.
Do you get to sue for copyright for that?
I'm going to sue everyone. At some point, I will.
That's
I need to start with McLaren, but that has nothing to do with my name. But at some point, it's got a targeted track top speed of 100 plus 90 miles an hour, which is not that impressive, and targeting a sub 7-minute ring time, right? Which is pretty cool. In the website, it also says that it's street legal, but just barely. And you look at the car, it's pretty cool. It's a crazy looking Mustang with like a huge wing, carbon fiber everywhere, vents everywhere. It's got a supercharged 5.2 liter V8 that will probably give you more than those 800 horsepower. Number one, this car is going to be $300,000.
Yeah, I think it starts at $325,000.
Okay,
So probably $400,000.
That is absolutely insane for a Mustang.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like now you're playing with the big boys. This is my problem with it, and I want to know how you feel. The Ford GT, it to me is one of the most beautiful cars. You're looking at it on the outs. Wow, the Ford GT. What a car. What a car.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I've been practicing. It's one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. But I remember the moment I met it. And I opened the door and I saw the interior. And the interior was so cool, but it's got all these shit buttons that Ford puts in a Ford Fiesta. And on this one, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I just saw the interior photos, I believe, for the first time.
Jim Farley just released that.
And
Peter Griffin.
it's a more intense Mustang Dark Horse inside.
How do you feel about that? Like,
I go back and forth on this car. Currently, I'm feeling like this is going to be epic, and I'm curious to see how it does. Because it's a GT500 on steroids, basically. It took the GT500 motor.
which that was a great car.
Which was an awesome car.
Yeah.
I owned one. I loved it. Really, the only issue was it's too heavy, and, the interior is kind of plasticky and not that great. So now every body panel but the doors is carbon on the GTD. I'm sure they did a bunch of other things. So the heaviness will probably be taken away. It's got 345 millimeter tires in the back. Huge. It was always a car that was incredible for the money. For $100,000, you were getting a supercar beater for $100,000. Now they're taking out of the equation. What if we didn't have that price goal? What if we just went all out? It's like other than the Ford GT, it's unknown territory to them. Now they're making a car that costs as much as a GT3 RS or an F8. So there's no excuses. If it's not way faster than those cars in terms of lap times,
so what would it have to do?
It'll be a fail.
What would it have to do for you to consider like this is awesome or this is not a failure, whatever your view of it?
Yeah, I mean, it has to decimate the new GT3 RS on like every track.
By a lot, right?
Because it's not a Porsche and the interior is not the same. And I think to the average person, it does look like a Mustang.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like they're GTD race cars. They're GT3 car, like basically exactly.
Yeah.
The Ford GT was so sexy. If you said, look, it's a Ford, an average person would be like, what?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But you open the Ford GT and then you see like the little buttons on the
Yeah,
steering
yeah.
wheel and you're like, oh, no. Yeah, this is a Ford Fiesta inside.
So
clearly.
they've kept that formula.
How do you put it? I feel like at some point they need to change that, no?
They do.
Like, come on, just call somebody else that has bin parts.
Yeah.
Anybody, call Mate Rimac. Rimac does that for so many other
Yeah.
companies. I'm sure he can give you spare buttons for something else. Like, at some point, dude, you're upgrading your point of purchase. You need to upgrade your customer, too. Like, who's going to want to buy this?
Well, what's like the economic term? What's like the values and the things you touch, like the touch points and everything like that. Like that's why I never get is why they cheap out on the buttons and all that kind of stuff.
I think they just have such a loyal fan base, and they're gonna make
it doesn't matter
such a limited amount that there's 10, 20 people for every slot. They're gonna sell them out. I bet it'll
How
be
many
worth
are they making? Do you know?
1,000 or 2,000, something in that
There's
realm.
2,000 people that love Ford that much that they're like, dude, I'll give you $300,000.
Yeah, I mean, almost everyone who got a new Ford GT, I
feel
know
like
I
people
know
that
a
got the
lot
Ford
of
GT
people.
wanted to flip it too.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people who are applying for this.
So they don't know exact numbers yet, but they're saying between 1,000 and 2,000 cars.
Okay.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So I mean, for the amount of people who like Ford, I think they have enough people who are, and they proved there's enough Ford lovers to pay $500,000 or $600,000.
Yeah,
So
but for a spectacular car,
Yeah.
and by the way, that car looked great, but the performance was 2 years behind.
Yeah.
Right? Remember?
The feeling and engagement was
Incredible.
next to none. But yes, I mean, it's slower than a 675 LT that came out before it.
Way slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was disappointing. And then the buttons inside. But you know what? That's a crazy looking car on the outside that you're like, fine, it's a one-off, it's different.
Yeah.
But a Mustang, I feel like anyone out here is just going to put a big-ass wing on their Mustang and cut some things and make it look like that. And you're going to have the same shitty buttons. So
It's missing an X factor. I think the track times are going to be great. If it's not, it's going to be a failure. They wouldn't do that. It's obviously going to be fast.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
I hope you're right. Yeah, no, we'll see.
Because if
But
it
I don't
only
know.
does, it said below 7-minute Nurburgring time. If it does a 6:59, then it's like a couple of generations behind. I mean, a last gen GT3 RS did that.
Oh yeah,
So-
no, the new one, like the new Porsches do like 649, 642s.
Yeah, 649. I'm not sure if that's the GT Black Series or the GT3 RS. But
It's
one of
already
those
low.
is in the high 640s.
Yeah, 'cause
so
I-
they're way below 7.
Yeah, because back in like 2015, that's when breaking the 7-minute mark was insane.
Yeah.
and now it's like, oh, dude, my Scion can do that shit.
If Porsche didn't exist, they'd be in a better position because then
Yeah.
none of these manufacturers are really like testing their cars on the Nürburgring. I guess Mercedes. And it'll probably spank all these Ferraris and Lambos around the track. But because Porsche exists as a reliable, good-looking,
And cheap
easy-to-drive car
alternative.
that's less money than this Mustang, that's harder.
So if you were presented with both an opportunity to own both for the same amount, GT3 RS right now, the
Oh,
current
GT3 RS, not even close.
That's what I
Yeah.
find it so hard for anyone to go like, oh.
Does anyone have a different answer than that?
Let
Would
me-
you get the Mustang?
What about you?
I think it'd be a value question. Is like what else they're going for afterwards.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but if it wasn't
no.
like
If it wasn't a value question, just a performance question,
Yeah,
it'd be the
dude.
Porsche for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe people will buy it just to collect it and put it in museums.
I meant this earlier, but Porsche should do a course like a Corsa Cliente program. Imagine that with the VIP club.
they do?
No, they should. I feel like
yeah.
that would murder.
That would be
They
cool.
used to do that. Porsche had the 918 Circle. That's what they called it. And if you were part of the circle, you could go to these events. But they only did like, you want to go driving the ice and ridiculous retarded shit. I was like, yeah, let me go driving the ice, dude. I'm going to use that all day, every day. Like, no. Is there anything more useful? But I agree. And they had problems. The problem with a lot of companies is Ferrari already did it. They all want to become Ferrari with exclusiveness and do all these things that they put together, right? And you see McLaren doing it. You see Porsche doing it. All these guys. The clients are a pain in the ass. They all complain because they all feel like I deserve everything, including myself, right? I deserve everything because I got this, and that. In Ferrari, it's pretty evident that those are the guys and fuck everybody else, right? But in the other ones, it was just like, who are you going to put in this circle? And then they just got so many complaints that they were like, this is not worth it. And they just dropped it because of that. So, no. And the thing is, these companies need to stop listening to people. Like, just do the Ferrari thing. Here you go. This is what I'm doing. Do you like it or not? And that's that. Yeah. It's just, they're falling for the social media trick of like, you see 3 bad comments and then the world is ending. And
Yeah.
there's a million people that saw it that didn't say anything, but 3 bad comments were like done. That, I feel like that's holding them back from creating this for
Sure.
Porsche. Because they should have it for every brand. Why not McLaren too?
I agree. Well, they don't have the money.
Didn't Lambo do it with that one special like one-off?
Now they do though. Now they do. Huh?
Didn't Lambo do it with that one special like
the
track
SC
only Aventador? Yeah, the SC or whatever. They did like 20 cars of whatever the Aventador
SC
track only
V12,
version
We
was.
don't even
Yeah.
know what that is. Like, I know what you're
But it was
referring
supposed to
that
come-
kinda disappeared.
But that's what I'm
happened to that
saying.
thing?
What
It was
happened?
Oh, what am I
supposed to
saying?
come.
McLaren does have this.
No, they don't.
Yeah, the Solus GT that they just came out with.
Oh,
the
that's
V10
right. They're all
track only car. They just did a weekend at Coda this recent weekend.
Oh, that's
There was
pretty cool.
multiple of them. They flew everyone out who had
But do
one,
you
and-
agree those McLaren Solus guys are not like Ferrari XXXK level guys? There's a slight difference in that.
I don't know.
Or maybe they're the same ones. Just going
Yeah.
to a McLaren
Yeah, I don't know.
event. I like that car.
That car is
McLaren
very
makes.
cool.
It's a one-seater, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. It was like $4 million
Something like that, yeah.
on a track car. That is my problem.
And they came out with what I thought was cool is that a car at that level should have something special. McLaren has never done a V10 road car. And then they were just like, we could take the V8 from the Senna or whatever. They were like, no, let's just have a whole new engine and transmission and car. And the whole thing's new.
That whole thing is new?
Everything. Yeah.
But those are MSO projects, no? Like MSO gets together. They all. I had a friend that wanted to do this with his friends, and they made me ask MSO, and then MSO got me out of the middle. Remember? yeah, fucking great guys. They wanted to make 25 Senna convertibles, which eventually turned into the Elba, blah blah blah. And I remember that each person had to put anywhere between $3.5 and $5.5 million to get the car sold, and they would have to put the money up first.
Wow.
Before they made it, but MSO would do it.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Why wouldn't you?
I think that's cool, though, no? If
I
you
think
can
so,
get
too.
some buddies together to make your own car effectively with the help of McLaren.
That's what I was doing with the fucking Cup Gang, dude. We had 10 Koenigsegg's that we wanted to buy when we went to the show. And we were like, we just want to get this of the next one. He's like, yeah, it'll be 4 years. And my boy just gets up and goes, no, I'm not waiting. And he just left. I was like, come on, dude.
I mean, that's not unreasonable.
I don't
4
think
years
so.
to build a new car? What?
So he said, I'm not building you a brand new car specifically for you, but we'll do a version of the car that we come out with, which was the Jesco, and do it just for you guys. Like certain wings.
that's
and
cool.
certain. Yeah, I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool. But patience was not on our side, apparently. And we ended up missing out.
Well, it would have been a lot longer than 4 years because the Jescos are barely being delivered
And
now.
also, by the way, I know, yeah, because that was 2016. What year
Yeah.
is now? 2024.
So that's 8
What about the
years,
Gemera?
and you'd still be waiting.
Oh no.
Is it Jim Arab still?
I'm so confused by that car. I think it's so cool, but I haven't really seen that anywhere yet. If you
Didn't
go
they
on and you type in used Gemera for sale, there's like a 2021 for sale.
I was gonna say, how's that possible?
I don't know.
I saw that too. Someone tried to sell me the
Like what is
Gemera.
that car, and why have I not seen footage of it driving around?
But this is the problem with the Koenigseggs, dude. I hate that they keep this market like secretive, like that their shit doesn't work right all the time, because there's no truth coming out of that. There's no enjoyment for real people to really look at that car and put it somewhere seriously in their mind as to like, I would rank it here. It's just what they have in their head is an illusion.
I
Does
think
that
they
make
just
sense?
need to wait longer before revealing a car.
Oh yeah.
Just finish it and
So there is VIN number 1 for sale right now at McLaren Charlotte.
Those guys have everything.
Yeah. But it does say it's a 2024 car.
How
but
much
it's
do they
VIN number
want?
1.
Oh.
Call for price, it doesn't say.
If you have to call, you can't afford it.
true.
Yeah.
One of these days we should call them.
They were like $2 million, right?
Yeah, it was like supposed to start at 1.8, but then they were like, oh, we'll have an optional V8 instead of the little 3-cylinder, and then that'll add like over $1 million more. So they're probably 3.5 or 4.
I'll take the 3-cylinder. You put the smart car engine in mind,
Yeah,
please.
put the 3-cylinder in there.
I'll pay $900,000 and
There's
go with
3
it.
for sale in the country. One is a 2021 and a 2023, which makes no sense because the number 1 VIN car is a 2024.
Right? What is any of that?
So that guy, he's getting the Apollo deal.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
first,
He
but
got-
it ain't the first. Literally, he got the first 2024.
I love this.
That's unbelievable.
I love this ego battles to be like the one and the last. Oh, so good. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Man, this was good. It was good
Yeah.
to see you.
Good to see you too.
Let's do this more often, please.
100%.
This was so much fun. This was 2 dudes, 1 car. Thank you so much, Parker.
Thank you.
I'm Alejandro and Sergio behind the camera. See you guys next week. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it might be
Don't
next
get
year.
your hopes up.